Hello fellow YouTubers, LegoBWC Stop Motioner here. Welcome to viewers new and old. And today I thought I'd go in and take a look at some of the 2.5 inch classic Sonic figures. I have all the Christmas classic Sonic figures and I was planning on reviewing those, but I thought it seemed kind of weird given that I haven't reviewed the molds that those figures were based on. So I thought I'd do this review first. I'll probably do another one that'll cover Eggman and the Eggmobile. Then I can review the Christmas variants. Yeah, either way, today we'll be taking a look at the regular classic Sonic, taking a look at classic Tails, classic Super Sonic, classic Amy, classic Knuckles, classic Mighty, and classic Ray. That's a lot of figures, but they should be fairly simple reviews, so without further ado, let's get into it. Now I got this classic Sonic with the Flying Battery Zone diorama set. And it's one of the early versions that has an unfinished looking muzzle, which is kind of a bummer. I'm planning to get the Animal Capsule set, the Level Clear diorama, which hopefully I'll get one that has a more complete looking muzzle, because that's always bothered me. But what the heck, it was just nice to finally get a classic Sonic that didn't have a dumb expression and a pose that was like not ideal at all. I'll give you the Chili Dog one is okay, but the one with his hand out and gritting his teeth, that one looks just so weird. I don't know why they've ever bothered re-releasing it. Either way, I got seriously off topic. Here's the 2.5 inch classic Sonic, and aside from my gripes with the muzzle and of course the paint, but again that's just a mileage may vary thing, he's a really nice figure. I feel that Sonic's classic design has had, that's the thing that's had a rough transition into 3D, because sometimes they just make him a little too cute, which I know is a pretty common opinion. It's hard to capture that though. I feel like this design worked for looking really cool in 16-bit graphics, but 3D graphics, I think it's just been a little bit harder to replicate. But I feel this figure captures the look pretty well. Still got a little bit of the cuteness, but I still feel he looks cool also. Got a smile there. They could just maybe angle the eyebrows a little more, make it look more like he's smirking. That would make a big difference. Still, he's got the quills. They're not very long, but they're not supposed to be for the classic Sonic design. He has normal arms, which is nice, and he has hands that do not rotate, which they usually don't do on 2.5 inch figures, but we did get that recently with the running Sonic. And the legs, the shoes, got the buckles on the shoes, of course. Yeah, overall it's a nice looking figure. I feel it does pretty much everything I wanted to do. For the articulation, the head is on a ball joint, not a ton of up or down movement, but you do get right and left. Shoulders are on the ball joints, so they can do a full 360. They can go up like that, and they can go in a little bit. And then legs can go forward that far and back that far, and they can rotate. It's going to look a little weird with the feet just because of the angling, but that's so you can get this stance. Yeah, overall, it's a pretty nice classic Sonic figure. I think it turned out pretty well. So I think that pretty much does it for him. Now we can move on to classic Super Sonic. This one's really nice. This is actually my first 2.5 inch figure I got from this line last year, so that's cool. And unlike the regular classic Sonic, his muzzle looks fine. The only defect with him is the little paint sticking up right there on his mouth. And this was on like pretty much every version of this release. I don't know if they rectified it since then in the Check Lane re-release. Not entirely sure. Either way, he also looks nice. His quills are going up. And his arms are in a more battle-ready pose. Otherwise though, still got the red shoes, the buckles, and the white on them. And he has one open hand and one closed hand. And I do kind of question why he would really need an open hand on the right arm, but whatever. The paint on his stomach also looks a little better. Like, there isn't yellow bleeding through, aside from that little chip there. Yeah, overall, really nice figure. Articulation, about the same. Rotation, not a ton of up and down. The arms can rotate. They can go up like that. Not really a ton of down. And his legs can go forward, back, and rotate. Really, main issue with this guy is that you can't really get him to stand fully flat-footed. Like, you can tell he's leaning to the right some, his right. And his left foot isn't touching the desk, so that's a bit of an issue, but other than that, I really like this figure. So yeah, that's Classic Supersonic. Next up we have Classic Tails, and once again, he's overall pretty nice. I feel they made the head maybe just a smidge too big, but that happens a lot with Tails figures. I like how they did the little eye shine on the bottom of his eyes there. And then he's got ball jointed tails, which can actually detach, and I mentioned this previously, but you can take that tails and then put his tails on him to give him rotatable tails, so that's cool. Set him off to the side for now. Once again, I feel like they captured the look of Classic Tails pretty well. He's got the little tuft of hair, got a smile. Then he has kind of different hand poses. Did a pretty good job on the paint for his shoes. The kind of buckle thing going around it. Yeah, overall, he looks pretty good. So for his articulation, head is on a ball joint. Can look right and left. Not a ton of up and down. And then his arms, they're going to collide with the whiskers there, but they are designed to do a full 360. Go up like that. And one thing that's interesting, and I think this is just a defect with mine, is that this arm, his left arm goes down all the way, and then his right one doesn't. Not really sure what happened there, but whatever. As I mentioned, his tails are ball jointed, so get movement there. And his legs can go forward that far and back that far. They do feel a little thin, so just be careful with that. And they can rotate. So yeah, overall, Classic Tails, also really nice figure. And here we have Classic Amy, and she's one of the best looking figures out of all the ones I'm reviewing today. She's not really the most functional though, that's really her only shortcoming. Otherwise though, she looks really good. Got the eyelashes, got a cute smile there, then the headband. She's got the tuft of fur. Did a good job with the quills. Green shirt, then the orange dress. They painted the laces on her shoes. Yeah, she looks really good. And she does also have an open hand, which you can put the hammer from the 4-inch Modern Amy figure in. However, I'm not really going to do that right now because, well, that one had the issue with the paint coming out the hammer and off the hand. And yeah, that did not look good, so I don't really want to mess with that right now. So like I said, she looks good. Her articulation, though, is a little problematic, at least in my experience. So the head can rotate, not a ton, and not a whole lot of up and down. Then the shoulders can rotate. It's just the way they're designed. Got these kind of thick shoulders, then these really thin arms, and it just makes me kind of nervous to bend them too much. As you can see, there's already a crack right there on the right one, which is a bummer, so that just makes me kind of nervous. And then there is a joint to move them up and down, but again, that's just, it takes too much force, so just take my word for it that it's there. Then the legs can go forward that far and back that far, and they can rotate. So once again, she's a good figure because she looks nice, just articulation, it's a little problematic, but that's mainly just due to the design. So that's Classic Amy. And then here we have Classic Knuckles. He looks really good. They gave him they angled the eyebrows a little better, so it does look more like he's smirking, which is what I was talking about with the classic Sonic. And he's got his fists, which both are thankfully closed, and he's got the knuckles on him. Then the moon crest right there on his chest. Then the shoes are painted pretty well. Got the red on the back and front there. There's the yellow. Then there's the Lego bricks on top and the green right there. Yeah, overall, he's a nice looking figure, but as you'd expect, just with Knuckles figures in general, the articulation, just with the dreadlocks, there's really not much you can do. So the head is on a ball joint. You do get some movement, just not a ton. And a little bit of up and down. The arms, if you kind of manipulate, you can get them to go in front of the dreadlocks. Then they can, not, if you get an angle like that, you can get them to go to the back. And they can go up that far. Then legs can kick forward that far and back that far. And they can rotate. So like I said, articulation, it's not perfect, but that's just kind of what you expect with Knuckles figures, or at least it's what I expect. So overall, pretty good. Then here we have Mighty, who is definitely one of my favorite characters to play as from Sonic Mania. And this figure, overall, looks pretty good. He does have an interesting pose, but this was still in the earlier days of the Jakks Sonic figures, so they were kind of doing poses over like having better functionality with the figures. That's why his left arm is awkwardly bent a little bit, but you know what, I don't really mind that much. Head sculpt is really nice. A nice red on the back there. He's got a bit of a smirk going. Pretty long nose. And the shoes are also well painted. And this one, something happened. It cracked a little or something, and it might break off at some point, which is kind of a bummer, but I can just squirt some glue down in there. Not like I need to access ankle articulation or anything. It's still odd though, because Jakks has honestly been pretty good in the QC department. Now for his articulation, head is, once again on a ball joint. Can look right and left. A little bit of up and down. Shoulders, they will collide with him, but they can do a full 360. Can go up like that, and same on this one. I guess he's doing like a motivational speech there or something. I don't know. And then legs can go forward that far and back that far, and they can rotate. So overall, I mean, I'm sure not everyone is crazy about the idea of him being a pre-posed figure. Who knows, maybe they'll do one that has a more regular looking stance. Still, I really like how he looks. And then here we have Ray. Once again, I think he looks really good. I like how they did the head sculpt there. And the little tuft of fur more on the top of his head. And then there's his tail and then his squirrel wings. He's kind of ready to do an uppercut, I guess. And then the blue shoes with white stripes on them look really nice. He's got a very dark muzzle and stomach fur compared to the others, but that is how he's supposed to look, so. Now in terms of his articulation, head is on a ball joint. Can look right and left, up and down. And shoulders, yeah, they're going to be a lot harder to get to do a full 360. But they can go up that far. We can kind of maybe get him in a gliding pose, sort of. I guess like that. I don't know. And then his tail is articulated. Legs can go forward that far, back that far, and they can rotate. So I'd say that pretty much does it for Ray. Overall, the shoulders don't really have the greatest articulation, but otherwise, disposability is pretty good. Not really a whole lot more I can ask for on a figure of this size and price point. So that's right. So I'd say that pretty much does it for all the classic Sonic figures we're looking at in this review. Overall, for the size and price point, I think these are pretty good figures. Now, if you're wanting to get them, there's various ways you can do so. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Mighty, and Ray just recently were re-released in this really cool 5-pack at GameStop. So if you want to get them, that's a really good option. If you want to get Amy, there was this Friends and Foes multi-pack that was released recently that has her in it. But honestly, what I'd recommend with her is she was re-released in the Walmart check lanes fairly recently, and I see her pretty regularly, so I recommend getting her that way. Classic Supersonic is I'm not entirely sure, because the last time he got a re-release was back in March in the check lanes. I think I do still occasionally see him floating around at Walmart, so maybe see if you can find him there. But he'll probably get more re-releases down the line. So, if you want to get these figures, those are my recommendations. So I think that's pretty much going to do it for this review. So, as always, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and God bless.